This is a post-resurrection story of one of the appearances of Jesus to his disciples. If you read a little further up in the narrative, we discover that Mary Magdalene had already visited the burial site of Jesus, only to discover that the stone had been rolled away from the entrance of the tomb, and Jesus was not there. She then immediately ran, to report her findings to Peter and the other disciples. Finding them, and upon hearing her report, the Bible says that Peter and John ran to the tomb to see for themselves whether or not her words were true. Well, just like Mary had said, Jesus was not there. He had risen from the dead, just like he had said. Peter and John then leave the tomb, and Mary, who is now weeping, is standing outside of the tomb trying to comprehend or trying to digest this phenomenon she was now experiencing. While standing there sobbing in the garden, two angels suddenly appear and ask her why was she crying. And about that time, Jesus appears to Mary, but she does not recognize him. She makes the mistake. It's a case of mistaken identity because she believes him to be the gardener. And she asks, "Where have you taken my Lord?" Jesus then reveals himself to her, God's own self-disclosure. He discloses himself to her, and she falls at his feet and begins to worship him. Verse 19 is a continuation of the same day. The same day at evening, the disciples were residing in what they believed to be a secured location. For the text says that the doors were shut out of fear. They believed that they were next, that the authorities had a warrant out for their arrest. And so they had found them a safe house, if you will, and locked the door. Suddenly, Jesus appears right in their midst. And this is a powerful scene because there was no announcement, there was no key, he uttered no password, he just miraculously appeared in their midst. Jesus appears and Jesus speaks. Jesus appears and he speaks, but not with words of rebuke for their failure of faith by abandoning him in the Garden of Gethsemane. Because you remember they all ran. Instead, Jesus spoke a word of comfort. He spoke a word of consolation. He spoke words of comfort and consolation to their broken hearts and to their shattered dreams. He said to them, "Peace be unto you." His presence and his soft words calmed their fears and confirmed the fact that who they were looking at and hearing speak was not a ghost, was not an apparition. Jesus was alive. And to prove it, he showed them his hands. And he showed them his side. I need 3 Bible readers to stay with me. Now, this confirmation produced joy within the 12 of the disciples, within the hearts of the disciples, rather. But the text says, then were the disciples glad when they saw the Lord. Come to tell you that recognizing the presence of Jesus in your midst always produces joy.